Someone's back. Hey, is that okay? Look, I don't know what happened there. It says I've still got 3 or 4 bars on my signal, but I'm not getting anything. So I'm sorry about that, guys. Don't know what happened. It says I've got reasonable signal here for once, but obviously I don't. So if we drop out again, we'll know what it is. At this point, I'm going to have a mouthful here in a minute because that's better. Now, I wandered outside and that's where we dropped out. So I don't know what we got to or what we did. Did we have a look at the injector pipe work? Is that what happened? Is that where we were? Where's the kitchen tree? If I come over here, will it drop out again? I don't know. It's all nothing. Fair enough. It's all nothing. I don't know if I'm brave enough to come outside the shed here or not. That's where I'm at. I'm going to stay here. I'm getting your chat fine. There's no problems with that. Okay, so you saw that we were over there at the Marshall. Is that where we were? Oh, that's bright. There we go. Why won't that hang straight? Good question. Try that. Are you okay there? Is everyone getting anything? There's still 4 people watching. It says we're 8 minutes in. Anyway, this is a very dirty black roller. Chat only takes a small bandwidth, that's right. Motion covers go on here. They've got a cutout on the side here to go around this, if you can see that, probably, I don't know. Up here there's a cylinder cover here, and they've got a cutout to go around there, and they sit out here with a curve, and they go behind the flywheel back there. Hey, James. And they bolt on the other side. I'm not really brave enough to go around the other side. Mark, that's interesting. Is that a Fowler number on that? Black valve is 16963, which isn't this engine anyway, because this is 16771. I looked up this number on the Fowler, on the Fowler book, and that one went to Buenos Aires or somewhere like that. Bolivia or somewhere. Anyway, don't know why we've got that particular clack valve on there. It's a winch drum down there. This has got these ugly tyres on it for several reasons, and they haven't come off. Also for several reasons. One is that we're short on cash. For a roller, it shouldn't have these bits of rubber on it, and it is a bit of an atrocity, but that's how it is. Another reason is that these wheels are too small for this roller, because they're not the original roller wheels. The original hubcaps. And this original axle and diff, I think. These are opening and porter wheels. So, they're quite heavy wheels. And for some reason, they're about 2 inches too small, 4 inches too small or something. So that's one of the reasons we've got rubber on them. The other one is traction, because it's a bit miserable with slippery steel wheels on it. And the other reason is that there's no diff pin in the other side, so it's easy to bog. So at this point, they're staying on until we get some other way of doing it. And then they'll get smooth rubber, a couple of inches of smooth rubber on them, won't hurt. Won't be putting Fowler wheels back on it in my lifetime. I don't think, because this is part of its history. It's been like it since the 30s, I imagine. It's a Depression era repair, and that's what we live with. I don't think there's yowies here. I'm not sure. I've never seen one. The dogs aren't barking. So on this side, Mark, we're going to do a nerd out on rollers here for a minute. Do they deduct points? Probably. This has a high clack on this side, which is injector clack. I've done the injector pipe and got all that back up and running, which is good. This flywheel is quite a bit bigger than yours, I think, and it's got a steel cap on it. This has had quite an extensive degrease this week, but it's dripping oil again everywhere, and that's just the nature of rollers. If we had smooth cladding on, you'd probably wipe it down fairly easy. You could probably wipe it down anyway, but there's a lot less dirt on it than there was a week ago, or a month ago, or even 12 months ago. Tell me when we cut out. Hey, John. We're working on these bits for Mark's roller and for my roller too at the moment, but I can't see them on there. Yes, I can. Down there, there's an oil cap on the end of that rod sticking out. See that? That's not original. So we're working on a set of them. There's one on each end of the roller, I think. Don't know how you oil the inside ones. It's one of Luck's mysteries, but anyway. At some point tomorrow, we've really got to put some number plates on this. Whether the front one will get fitted or not, I don't know. It might, but there we go. Have we still got everyone? Looks like we might. I'm going to hang that on finger there so we can actually see things. Signal is really bad down here, and I apologise for that. Another thing we haven't got is a tail for that pipe, so we're going to live without it for now. I've got a drop valve and filter for it, proper one. It's a good job, but I haven't got a nipple or a tail to go in the pipe, and I just run out of cash for that. So we're going to do this trip without it. It'll work all right without it. But it'd be nice, probably before the National Rally, to put that. That's the motion cover. It's sitting up there, see? Not finished. We saw that in the workshop the other day, but that goes on the side there with the nameplate on it. So it covers all the good bits up, but I think we can live with that. It's my roller, I can do what I like. This is also it's a different clack on this side, Mark, because it is actually centre of the border. interestingly. I can't see that this has got a number on it. It might have had at some point, but I can't see a number on it. But it is a slightly different one. This is all back together. Got this all back on. You see this? Got my holes in it and stuff. But it's back together with the original, well, with what the existing steering gear in it. I haven't as yet put the new stuff in it because I haven't got a worm. But this is the steering box, and that new gear goes in here on the shaft, and then there's a worm on the shaft down here that drives it. So the new gear goes there. I put all that back together for tomorrow, for the weekend, but at some point that's coming off, and hopefully the new gear will just sit straight on. Fingers crossed. What else? A lot of bits. That regulator, that lubricator really needs to pull down and a clean up, and I'd like to do that very soon. I meant to have that done for the National Rally too, but it never happened. Not going to happen now. And I would like, maybe even still, to get another coat of paint on the smoke box and the chimney. But we'll see how that goes. This side wheel has a scarifier hub on it, which is not Fowler. It could be Fowler. I don't know. I don't know what the story with it is. I would like, it sticks out 3 inches. If you look here, it does. If we have a look, it does actually stick out past the side of the wheel, which is a bit of a pain. So would like very much to get another one cast the same as the other end and put on it. But before we do that, this is missing the diff pin. Now there's a place for a pin. That's the diff wheel in the back. And you can see, if you look carefully in there, you can see the side of the diff pin hole there. This is on a different diameter here where it used to be. So it would have had a pin here somewhere to lock that up. Now, I don't know what to do about that, or whether to either fix it or what to do. At some point I'd love to pull it off and sort it out, but it looks like dollar signs. Need a lot of apprentices to paint things, yes. I'm guessing over the course of the next 12 months these back wheels are going to come off and the axle's going to get sorted and checked, and the wheels are going to get probably rubber vulcanised on and new axles. We'll see how that goes. That'd be great. There's a blow down valve in, can you see that maybe? There's a blow down valve in the back there under the boiler. And this engine's got plugs in here rather than doors, which is probably, can we see that? Yeah, there's plugs there, which is not a bad thing. So there's 2 plugs there. Can we see it there? Probably not. No, I can't see it hardly. And there's one in the smoke box, and there's one in the back end, I think. So they're all just screw plugs. This is not so much a painting job, it's a cleaning job. This is much cleaner than it was. It's been scrubbed head to foot. It's quite a lot less oil and grease and muck on it than there was. And we noticed that the wasps are already starting to build in it, even in the cold weather. So yeah, it's a pull things off and clean them up and paint them sort of a job to do it properly. Otherwise you're wasting paint. I think. So that's kind of a run round. This new water pump's back on. It's not ideal yet, but it's all there and it works. There is some issues with that. Look, that dipstick there is an issue, and quite a serious issue that needs fixing. And I'm a bit sick of it, to be honest. But see, there's a brass dipstick with a bend in it. It goes in this hole here. Gives you the level, water level on the tank, which is under your feet here. That's all very well, but because this sits on the bottom of the tank, it puts a hole. Now there should be a proper casting over there in that side, I believe, in the corner there, underneath the injector pipe, which is that tap there. See where it goes through the bit of a cow thing, because it goes through the gear here and then down behind the handbrake. And as it is, you've just about got to take all those bits off to get that pipe out. But at this point, probably, I would like a proper flange valve on there. Some point with 2 flanges on it, and a flange on the pipe, and then probably a union halfway down the pipe. And with any luck, you should be able to get it all out then and put it back in. So there should be a casting bolts on the floor over there with a overflow with it. It's not real warm here. An overflow and a place for a round ring on dipstick to go in so it doesn't sit on the floor. That's something that needs doing. Anyway, I believe there's a pattern kicking around because Mark has a new casting. Don't know. Got a nice tidy stack of wood here. Anyway, because of that, we ended up drilling the tank after we filled it up with water and discovered it was leaking again where the dipstick touches the bottom. So we drilled it and tapped and put a brass plug in it. It's quite a good repair. But putting that dipstick in is going to make it bad again. Although brass on brass probably won't be as much of an issue. But I think we need to cut a piece of plate and put in the bottom there. Is what it really needs. Another improvement that someone's made, which is a very good idea, see those 2 plugs down there? Point with the flashlight, that one and that one. They're zinc anodes screw in there. So, very useful thing in your tank. If you can possibly, if you've got room to put one in a tank, miniature or full size or anything, do that, because it'll save your tank. There's a trapdoor in the back here for coal, which actually works. Just have 2 nuts to undo it and slip it down. This basket is a very Australian thing. I'm not really a fan of them, and I would just as soon as see on my roller that it never had it. I'll put it back to factory. Not a fan, really. And what I'd like to see is a proper bracket on here with a steersman seat sticking up with a seat on it. So that at some point will probably happen. Oops, screw it, Bill. Oops. So they're the projects on the roller. These are a big project. I think there's a couple of boards in this canopy that are starting to go. 3 years after I put them together and painted it and covered it. Not impressed about that. It's a job for next year because it's a big job. That canopy weighs about a ton, and it's a crane job or a gantry job or something. So some engines that belong to Christian and a step through that belongs to Dan when he feels like killing himself. There's a Robertson saw bench there that needs TLC. At some point it will have it. Be very nice, but it's probably one of the first things that'll get some TLC when we get down to the new shed before we start in on any major roller jobs. So that's there. New spindles down here on the ground. And probably not far off putting the spindle in it, to be honest. This is Dan's little Roby engine. It needs some boiler work. In fact, the smoke box is on the top of it. Yeah, there's a T&B video up and you should all go and watch it. I did watch it. I didn't leave a comment because I watched it sort of in the car and don't play with the phone while I'm driving. So you didn't hear that from me, but good video. It's a Land Rover here, of course. No steam sheds. Really complete without a Land Rover. And a Ferguson, a grey Fergie. The steam generator there, turbine generator, which is of varying use. Not sure we've got enough steam to run it here, but anyway. William Henry today, but has been running some lights. Of some sort. We'll go around here. My van's over there. You see that? This is pretty well all set up for the road run. So there's a RBC in there with water in it. Not much water, we're going to have to fill it up tomorrow. And a pump and a hose. Reflective sign. All that stuff ready to go. There's a few little jobs to do on that. Anyway, what I was going to show you when we cut out the first time is over here. There's stuff happening over here. The stuff you haven't really seen. But this is Dan's Hornsby. Basically it's Tangy Soho that's got Richard Hornsby written on it. It's got a broken piece out of the casting there, but it's probably fixable. There's bits of it everywhere. There's a crankshaft and a crank and a flywheel. Other bits of it everywhere. And that cylinder is inside that we had a look at it before. So that's another project that's sort of working, happening here. That's sort of one of Dan's Graham engines. So my washing's out here. We probably don't get to see that, but there we go. Could probably, I think, pull it in the morning if it's a nice day. This crankshaft sticking up here, and that big flywheel on the ground, and all those bits along there. So let's have a look. There's another thing that I don't think anyone's really seen on live stream. There's a 4-carriage there. There's 4 wheels there. There's a cylinder motion guide there, standing up. That barrel over there behind the barrel. The cylinder block. There's some horn cheeks. Oh, hang on, we'll get a light there. There's some horn cheeks over the back. I think you can see that. Anyway, you can't see much. There's 5 bars down there. And all that stuff. So, yeah. That's part of a Marshall portable engine. There's also another stove here. I probably don't want to go there. And a water pump that we use quite often with a portable engine. And lots of Hornsby bits there, con rods and pipes and covers and things. Eccentrics. And assorted junk. And some cladding. Etc. The rest of that engine, I'll have a look at it in here again. We're dark, it's very dark out here. It's overcast and foggy and miserable because we've had quite a storm today, so it's almost not clement enough to go on a road run, but we'll manage. So we'll put that light there. Who's still there? Is everyone still there? Peter's there, he's firing on all cylinders. So there's the cylinder there off that little engine. Now, this engine here, which has a message on the side, you read that. Pretty well covers it, actually. This is the rest of the... There's a new barrel there, and there's inner and outer firebox, one sitting above the other. Have a look in here. What it looks like inside. Now, this is a Marshall 4 horsepower portable engine. It is almost the same as that one, only a bit different. Different style of boiler. This is a Colonial. And this is just a Britannia, a standard Britannia engine with a locomotive style firebox. This has got a log burning firebox which is round. I'm not sure anyone's ever seen one of them. I'm guessing you do. It's got a round firebox for logs and things. And this is pretty much basically the same engine as that one out there and this one here sitting here. But that's a long way off yet. Eventually I'd like to see that one as nice as this one or nicer. We've got all the bits. It's just a matter of putting the boiler together, to be honest. So, projects. Back head there. This one's got doors in the bottom. Which that door that we drew up in the CAD stream the other week, I don't know if anyone saw that, but basically they go in the corner of the smoke firebox like this. Anyway, that's what's happening here. There's the longitudinal stays and the safety valve and the valve cover there in the middle. Look at the centre of the screen. Governor cover there. Perch bracket there. Piston. Pump rod there on the front. Some bearing parts. that frame there. You see, you recognise that frame as being, we'll brush over here, as being that frame there. So very similar engine to this. A lot of the bits are interchangeable almost, but not quite. This is beautiful. This is beautifully turned out engine here. Some other interesting, exciting news. There's lots of other interesting, exciting news, but there's nothing I can really tell you officially. It will happen as time goes on. But I'm hanging out for hear back from a job so that I know that I'm starting on Monday or when I'm starting. I've got the job. I think I just wait to see when I start. So that's all happening. Lots of parts here. That's the new. That's the old steam shed. This is Fridge's shed. He's been very, very kind to let us use it for a bit, and we gave him I hope we gave him enough encouragement and help to build it. I know I put a few hours into it too, and it was very kind of him to let me house the roller here for a couple of years. But we're moving on, and there will be another shed very soon, probably with electricity, probably with good signal, probably with undercover space for a roller, and probably enough space for all these projects in the machine shop and all that sort of stuff. So good things are coming. Probably needs a massive sticker wall. I have to put my sticker wall up. Anyway, that's what's happening here. This is going to the National Rally before, sort of on the 17th, on the same truck as this, which is at Toowoomba. 60-something, 658, 60-something engines going to the National Rally. If you're in Queensland and you're heading to Toowoomba for that couple of days that week, it's well worth catching, worth a look. Just one weekday is probably, it's a good time to catch it, or a couple of weekdays. It's going to be great. Anyway, this is Dan's place, and he's gone into bed. I think he had a meeting with a safety meeting with the railway he's involved in. So he's gone and done that. Got this thing pretty much ready to go Friday morning early. We'll be out of here about 6:30 with a fire, I think. And make it up to the bins. It is fairly wet, so there's some. I have some reluctance getting out of here, but we won't have to worry about the weather or anything getting it back in, because it's not coming back in. Anyway, it's a bit of an end of an era. It's kind of nice to be able to share that. Other little jobs, there's 1,000 jobs we've done on this roller in the last little while. Absolutely. Those two diagonal braces on there, they've been welded up and fitted back on because they're not original and they're not forged, they're stainless steel, so the welds on them are a bit ordinary, like the welds on everything else on this. So that's fixed. There's a list of things we've done. That's how the steering works. We've got a worm there, and that's not the worm we've got to make, but the gear goes on the end of that shaft on the other end, out past that plate on the back, and then the worm drives that from the steering wheel on an angle. that's something I'd like to have done before the National Rally, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's no cladding on it, as we promised. Hey, Mats. So, thanks for being here. Our new shed's going to be much more accessible and probably much warmer this time of night, in the middle of the night. And a whole lot easier to do jobs in. This has been very good, but it's sort of bearable, to be honest. And the weather's pretty crap at the moment. So that's got a Marshall whistle on at the moment. I've got the Fowler whistle.